Hi everyone. My name is Jide. Welcome to my channel. On this channel, I talk about living in Canada, how you can live, grow, and thrive in Canada. I also talk about growing your mindset, becoming a better you every day by taking strategic, intentional actions. Today, I'm talking about what $10 a day in dividend stocks can do for you in 10 years. That's like make you build wealth without feeling it. In my previous videos, if you have checked my channel, I talked about, at one point, I talked about that it's not enough to go to work 9 to 5 consistently. I shared the story of how I am moving from just consistently going to work to consistently building my own personal brand, value, and wealth. So on this channel, I'll be sharing my personal dividend investing journey, which you can learn from. And I would also want you to join me in this journey so that we don't become part of the statistics of people that go into credit card debt and not being able to pay, or people that have to declare bankruptcy because they could not pay up their debt. One thing is that the inflation is rising faster than we know it. So just being complacent or doing the same thing over the years is not enough. We cannot continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. Yeah, we cannot do the same thing and expect a different result. So on this channel, I challenge my viewers' mindset, okay, on how to do things differently to get a different result. There are some things personally, and I want this video to be as plain as possible. In this video, I want to be as plain as possible, to be sincere as possible, to share my own insight and how this insight can stimulate you into want to get better in your personal life and in your finance. I am on a journey to living on personal income, passive income from dividends. And I want you to join me in this journey. Is it possible to get our bills paid just by earning, just from monthly or quarterly dividend we earn from Canadian companies or from US companies? Yes, it's possible. Some people are currently living on passive income, that is such that if they get laid off from job today, if they get laid off, or probably they stop working today, they have enough passive income from their monthly dividend to sustain them at least for the next 10, 20, or 25 years. I am not there yet. I am being sincere with that, but I'm started the journey. I'm already on a journey to earning passive income, such that it will get to a time that I won't have to go to work to pay my phone bills. I wouldn't have to go to work to pay my rent. I wouldn't have to go to work to finance my children's school education, because I have invested over the years. One thing I wish I had started to do 10 years ago was this. I wish I started to invest in dividend stocks 10 years ago. That's 2015. But one thing is that time has gone. Is there anything I can do about it? No. But I have 10 years ahead of me now. 2035 will soon be here. By the time it is 1035, what would I have been, or what should I have done differently? Okay, to make me, okay, to have made me wiser. What should I have, what do I have, what have I learned over the last 10 years that I should improve on in 10 years to come? So by 2035, I want to be 10 times or 50 times better than what I have today, such that when it is 2035, I can look back and say I made a decision in 2025 that changed the entire trajectory of my personal wealth, of my family wealth, of everything about me. So that being said, let's go into this video. So today's video, I want to show you how $10 a day looks so small, but if invested in dividend stocks, what it can do in the next 10 years. So let's move forward. So the daily habits that can change you and change everything. So we are looking at just $10 per day. So that would be like $300 per month. If you invested that over a 10-year period, you would have invested a total of $36,500. As we speak now, do I have $36,500 to invest? No. Probably you also don't have. But we are talking about a long-term investment. And please note, investing is different from trading because people often confuse investing with trading. Investing is a time game, is a long-term game that you consistently put your resources into a system, okay, that gives you a return, and that returns is also reinvested and gives you a return. Okay, so that is the idea, that you are putting little per time into a system that gives you a return of certain percentage, maybe 8%, 10%, 14%, reasonable returns, okay, over a period of years, such that by the time you get to the assigned time, after a period of time, let's say 10 years, you get a return, okay, that has made compounding investing worked for you. So in essence, what I'm saying is that we do not have this amount, 36,500 now, but over 10 years, okay, we can gather $36,500. This amount that we could have spent drinking coffee, spent without thinking on something that is trivial, that would not give us a return, we can start thinking differently and tell ourselves, I have a $10 I can spare every day. This looks so small, but if you look at it from the investing point of view, it's a significant amount. So this should make you see your $5, your $1, your $10 differently. Now, so if you invest your $10, which is like, if you invest $10 daily or $300 per month in a stock or ETF that gives an average return of 8% yearly, you would have grown that $36,500 to $55,000, okay, at the end of 10 years. That is the lower end. But on the higher end, okay, you would have made around $70,000 from your investment of $36,500. So we are looking at investing over a period of years, 10 years. Let's say we are starting in 2025. We invest $10 a day in the stock market that gives at least 8% average annual return. By the end of 10 years, you are going to have between $55,000 and $70,000 in your portfolio. Okay, so that is something that is significant. This will happen if you took action. Okay, this will happen if you take action today. I already started taking action. I am already consistently investing in stock market in Canada, in US, and other international markets. So one thing that you need to do now is to take action today. Okay, if you take action, you will see a different result in your life. But why really does this matter? Or sorry, why does it work? That's what I meant. Dividend reinvestment. That means each dividend you buy, okay, buy more shares. There's also the power of compound interest. Your money makes more money. Remember rich man in Babylon, okay, that says that your money, okay, should work for you to earn more money. So if you have read the rich man in Babylon book and you have not practiced it, it is not enough to just read it. I remember I read that book about 10 or 15 years ago, but I never put it to work. So now that I started thinking about passive income, then I remembered that, oh, the richest man in Babylon was not just a story about a merchant or something. It's a real life investment of what people do to get ahead financially. So to get ahead financially is not difficult. It is consistently doing simple things over a long period of time. The solution to a difficult problem is not difficult. If the solution to a problem is hard, probably that is not the problem. So if the solution to your financial challenges right now, if you think it's going to be a very complex solution, that probably is not the solution. But what if I tell you, okay, what if I tell you that as little as $10 per day in stock market could get you ahead financially? Yeah, it could be as simple as that. Because now, what it does is not that, it's not just that you are saving $10 into stock market every day. It is changing your mindset to see value in little things. You start cutting down expenses in every area of your life, and you start to shift your focus to building something significant for the future. Like I always say, time in the market is more important than time in the market. That's why it works. Okay, you are leveraging time for you. Time is the most uh time is the most resourceful, is the most expensive asset we have, and we got to let it to work for us. Okay, so let's assume that there will be deductions. Okay, uh let's assume that there are brokerage fees. Of course, you are going to be investing in the stock market through a broker. Currently, I use Questrade as my broker. So let's assume your broker deducts 1% annually as brokerage fee or currency conversion fee. Let's also assume that in Canada there is 2% inflation rate. Okay, that assume that 2% is gone to inflation, 1% is gone to brokerage fees and currency conversion, and we have a net of 6% after all deductions have been factored inside it. Does it still worth it? Your final portfolio should be around $55,000 plus, even after all deductions. Okay, and by the time you are checking your portfolio, you will see that you will be earning not less than $2,200 in passive cash flow every year. Okay, what can $2,200 a year do for you? That's around $200 per month. What can you do with $200 per month now? Think about it. That can cover your phone bills, isn't it? Okay, and if you have if you have a small family, probably that can cover your grocery, okay, in 2 weeks. So you see the power of small things. You see the power of consistently doing little things over a period of time. Okay, you want to use the power of compounding, power of the stock market. This is the secret that rich people have. So rich people are not rich by mistake or by luck or by a special miracle. They are rich because they understand how money works. They understand wisdom. They understand principles of finances, and they work the principle consistently with a focus on the end goal. So they have a focus that at the end of 10 years, this is what I can get. What am I going to sacrifice in the short term to get my goal in the long term? So there's a mindset thinking that I'm sharing with you now, and I want you to go back, do your personal research, as this is not a financial advice. This is just my own sharing and to stimulate your interest in changing your financial destiny. So over the 10 years period of investing $10 daily in the stock market that gives 8% return, you are going to have 51% total gains on your contribution. Okay, guaranteed. If you take time and decide that you want that. Okay, so now this is like an overview of what you will get in 10 years time. And mind you, 10 years is not that far away. Okay, 2015, I can remember vividly what happened in 2015. 2015 looked like yesterday. I wish I had knew this in 2015. Okay, I read books on finance, but I didn't put them to action. But here I am 2025. I wish I had done this. But by the time I get to 35, I will not have this regret anymore because I am already on this journey. And I will be thanking myself in 2025 that I have made this work for me. You will be having, if you have followed me up till now and you have deciding to take action on this for the next 10 years, probably you are 30 years old now. By the time you are 40, if you are going to do that consistently, you are going to be having like $180 to $200 in passive income monthly. That even if they lay you off from your job, if you stop working, you will be having this monthly. Okay, so aside that you'll be getting passive income, passive dividend income, your stocks also have growth potentials. So they are also growing. Okay, as your stocks grow, your dividend increases and your capital gains also increases. Okay, so do you get it now? So it's a very beautiful and very, very strategic way of putting your money to work for you. What are the stocks to buy? I personally invest in dividend stocks in both Canadian market and in US market. A typical dividend stock in Canada gives 3 to 5% annual yield, and then I'm making sure that their payout ratio is less than 60%. Payout ratio is how sustainable is this company with its dividend payment. Are they going to, would they be able to sustainably pay their dividend for the next 10, 20, 25 years? Personally, I want to give you this assignment. Research into dividend aristocrats. Dividend aristocrats are companies that have large capitalization market. They are consistently paid dividends over the last 25 years. Okay, and they are reliable and in the industries that gives them consistent profitability. So those are the companies stock you want to buy. They have 3 to 5% annual dividend yield. They have payout ratio less than or equal to 60%. They have dividend history of payment of they've been paying dividend constantly for 10, 15, 20, 25 years. Those that have paid constantly for 25 years are called dividend aristocrats in the US. And then business stability. They have a strong fundamental. It means that they're in a market that produce their services, products and services meet critical needs. That even if there's a lockdown like we had during COVID, their products and services will still be needed. So in this, on my right hand, you'll find Canadian companies like Fortis, Telus, Enbridge, Canadian Utilities, TD Bank. In fact, the top 5 banks in Canada are one of my favorite dividend stock. Although I do not invest in all of them, I just invest in 1 or 2 of those top 5 banks for now. Okay, I may look into investing into other 3 top 5 banks in Canada, but that's just my own personal investment strategy. It is not an advice for you. I'm not a financial advisor. I want you to take this video, go back and watch it over and over again, and decide on how to make your next 10 years worthwhile financially. That is what this video is about, to stimulate your interest in what you should be doing for the next 10 years to make your 2035 better than 2025. Okay, so what's the bigger picture? Why should we stress ourselves, okay, in investing? There's nothing like freedom to choose. If there's anything that we have as an advantage, as something that we want, that is that we all want, the fundamental needs of man is ability to choose. I will say that our deepest need is to have the ability to choose what we want to do, when, how. Okay, there are some days you just want to stay in the house and relax, but you find out that you have got to pay bills. What if bills paying is not what is motivating you to go out in the morning? Imagine that kind of life. I imagine living a life that I do what I want to do, not because I want to pay bills, but because I choose to do it. Wouldn't that be nice if that is your own story too? On this channel, I want you to join in with me to get to that time that we do what we want to do because we choose to do it. We love to do, not because we are under the pressure to pay bills. So think about the freedom you can get when you invest, okay, long enough to get passive income. What about less worrying about your future finances? What about not getting scared to get laid off from your job? What about the peace of mind and security that you have even when you hear of layoff now? Okay, so what are my final thoughts? Start small. Just $10 a day is enough. When you begin to see results, I will not have to motivate you to start investing more than $10 a day. Yeah, or 8,000 in a month. You will be motivated. Just as I have started to see dividends, and nobody's telling me to invest in stock market anymore because I'm already getting motivated with what I'm seeing yields or the dividends I'm seeing. So after starting small, be patient, calm down. You cannot make all the money in a day. Don't rush. Some people rush. They think they can make all the money in a day and they fall into scam. You cannot make all the money in a day. Calm down. You will make it little by little. Stay informed. This is not a financial advice, and do your own research. If you have watched this video to this time, that means something inside you wants to really succeed financially. I want you to like this video, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family. And most importantly, take action today. Thank you for watching. See you again.